Welcome back to my channel. I am super excited to have 145 new friends here. And this week's video is going to be a little bit different in that it is going to be more about one thing that I've implemented into my life that has completely transformed how I have spent my days in the last 4 years. Today, I want to chat about vision boards. Every year since 2022, I have committed to making a vision board, and so I will share what they have looked like here. But to open up this video, I really want to emphasize that vision boarding is for everyone. You can be a tiny little bean and have things that you want to do in your life, whether the playground or art class. You can also be in your 30s and have a certain vision for what you are looking for from your 30s. You can also be in the midst of family mode or in retirement and have these visions for things that you have been yearning for and what you are hoping to achieve with your time. So I really believe that vision boarding is something for everyone and a practice that the earlier we can get into it, it becomes a part of your routine and your thought process in life. I'll start by explaining why I feel like it changed my life. And I think the simplest way to explain it is it felt like an immediate map. When I made my first vision board, I was in a place of loss. I didn't feel clear on how I wanted to spend my time. It felt like there was a lot of different options and I had a rough idea, but everything felt like a big decision and I didn't feel like I was on my true path and I just felt like kind of lost. And I sat down one evening in April. It wasn't January 1st, it was just mid April, where I was like, okay, what do I want the rest of 2022 to look like? And I brainstormed that and I really took the time to think about what I wanted that year to bring. Through that, I was able to create this map that I had on my desktop of my computer. And every day when I woke up after that, I was able to use invites as a compass. Is this thing that I am invited to related to what my goals are on this vision board? If I really want to move my body this year and my friend wants to hang out with me, maybe then I can suggest a walk. And that way I'm incorporating some movement into my life and it becomes really clear on what you are wanting. When you are clear on what you want, whether it is a YouTube channel that you're trying to grow or a promotion that you're going for at work or just moving your body more or being outside more, if you're clear on what it is that you want in your life, then you can make that happen. It's just a choice at that point. And so vision boarding allows you to be clear with yourself on what is it that I am looking for from my life this year, this month, this week. Yes, that comes down to the importance of aligning with yourself, creating that space to sit down and ask yourself, what is it that I'm wanting? Now, I think for some people, it can be really challenging to know what do I want to put on my vision board? Like, what are things that are feeling exciting or that I would want to work toward? And I think an easy way to look at that is what are things that you frequently feel jealous of? If you are on social media and you see people doing certain things, what are things that make you feel like, oh, I wish I could be doing that? Or also, like, what are things that you think of as bucket list items? These things can help guide us towards understanding the small things we have to do in order to get to those bigger things. So, for me, for an example, I have this vision of one day sailing around Desolation Sound here in BC. And I know that to put sailing to Desolation, BC on my vision board for this year, it feels unrealistic. But 4 years ago, when I started thinking about what I might want to put on my vision board, I realized I kept feeling inspired by these different sailing images and content that I saw, whether YouTube videos that I was watching or posts that I saw on Instagram. So I put a photo of a sailboat on my vision board. And slowly I knew that I wanted to work towards that. For me, that ended up being signing up for sailing lessons. It was chatting with people when I could. If I understood that they had a boat, I was like getting in there and asking questions about it and really trying to open up my mind to who do I know in my circle who does sail? Who could I tap on to better understand this lifestyle? And through that clarity, I ended up finding a sailboat share in Vancouver that I was able to tap into and participate in for a summer. There's one example of something that I identified that I have a dream for in the future, and then putting that sailboat on the vision board. And soon after, that same year, I was able to lock in a sailboat share and sailing lessons that got me that much closer to my goal of one day sailing Desolation Sound. So I think these are examples, and maybe you do that. You can do that intuitively without a vision board. But for me, it does create clarity throughout the year when days get busy and seasons are kind of nuts. It's like, no, these are the things that I really do want to prioritize. Maybe it's pottery lessons, maybe it's meditation, maybe it's making beautiful dinners with nice wines. Whatever it is that calls for you, it's going to look different for everybody. So, I want to explain how I make my vision boards. And I think everyone's process is going to look a little bit different, and it's not a one size fits all. But for me, what has worked really well is taking some time to reflect on paper. So, first, I sit down and I like to journal. And from there, I try and reflect on my previous year of what are things that I loved about the previous year, what are things that I felt like maybe I fell short on the previous year. Then I move forward from reflection onto more forward thinking of what are some things that I would look forward to this year. This year, when I think about those things, I think about a big move in my future outside of the city, slowing down, saving more money to potentially buy a house. I think about getting really strong. I think about spending a lot of time outside doing the things I know I love to do, like mountain biking and bike packing and hiking, and really using BC and specifically really enjoying my time here in Vancouver in the city while I live here. So, those are all things that I know I could then include in my forward thinking. After I've done this journal entry, then I go onto Pinterest and or Instagram, any of these kind of platforms. And you can even go onto your own phone photos if you prefer. But try and find inspiration of things that have you excited, that feel inspiring to you. So if I was going to be making my Pinterest board, I would first make a new board and call it something like 2026. However, I already have a board that is called 2026. So let's use this board. So you can see I've already pinned some pins of images that I want to represent my winter. Outdoor sports, a lot of skiing on here, some ocean, a home, some outdoor dining. So now I need to create some more ideas. So when I am thinking about my year, I really am thinking about this outside time. And we have already captured ski touring and winter, but I also am wanting to do some hiking and specifically hiking with girlfriends. Also, noticing this, I really want to do some hiking with my partner. You know, this is actually calling to me, whether we rent a sailboat this summer or something, sunrise. Kind of been feeling a lot of running lately, ocean biking, definitely. Let's use this to represent. So, anyway, you can kind of get the gist here. It's really just going through and seeing whatever calls you. Once you have your Pinterest board and your inspiration, then I like to go onto Canva and I try and find a template of a vision board that is speaking to me. Now we pull in our photos from Pinterest that we've saved and put them into the Canva board. Then we go to town with filling in our Canva template with all the images we saved from Pinterest. And then I also sometimes choose to use like my own images that are from my own camera roll. If there's something that really stood out from last year that I really love to do, then I'll just use that same image. It's nice to include a quote sometimes too. Like I enjoy including a quote. Okay, and there we go. My 2026 vision board. I'm definitely going to take some time to finesse this and think a little bit deeper about whether these are the images I really want to drive my year off of. But In a nutshell, I think this does summarize the feeling, the experiences, the priorities that I want to have in my life. And now that I have this visual, it allows me to kind of gear my decisions around that, whether it's going to get a cup of coffee and thinking, do I want to spend my money on this today, or would I like to save for this beautiful home? This really does feel like it's a good map for 2026. And like I say, these do not have to happen at the start of a year. This tool has given me so much drive, motivation, and clarity on the life that I want to live. And I just wish that I could share it widely with people. Highly recommend making one and then making it really present in your life on your desktop, on your background, on your phone, and all these different places so that it stays present in your mind and helps you make your decisions. So I hope to make more sit down content like this in between larger videos that I make. And so if there's anything that you would be interested in hearing about, or if there is any feedback that you have on this style of video, then I am very open to it. So thank you for watching, and feel free to like the video. It really helps my channel as I'm starting and hoping to grow. I hope that this tool helps progress your life in a beautiful and meaningful way. Okay, we will see you soon.